get ready.
Hello again, Flame Fatales. I hope you missed me because I missed y'all. So earlier in the week, you saw me do Kirby's Adventure, and now I'm back with the remake of that game. Except we're not playing as Kirby, we're playing as Meta Knight because reasons. Meta Knight is actually very different. I will actually before we start, let me go ahead and start. So 3, 2, 1. Go. Alright, so obvious difference. We're not Kirby. Other differences. We move a little bit faster. We're a little bit heavier. And we have a sword. If we were playing this as Kirby and that's me taking a hit, that's fine. Great start. Anyways.
Could be more fine.
Yeah, anyways, if we were playing this as Kirby, we would want to try to get a mix at the start of the stage, and try to go through as a wheel. Sadly, this game does not have the sort of glitches that KA does, so we can't really do, like, the crazy things like be a UFO for most of the game. But we can be, somebody with a sword and weird bat wings and just slice up everything. I promise you, we'll still kind of quit, just won't be as fast. I say when this is actually quite a bit faster than the UFO run was. Ow. Anyways, probably outline a little more differences with Meta Knight here. Like I already mentioned, he moves faster, you're stuck with sword. He's a little bit heavier, and that means he falls faster. More importantly, he can't float. He can't fly, though, he has wings. But these hit like a little bit of height, and then he just falls like a rock. So it's very easy to just kind of mess up your movement and just hit an enemy that you don't mean to. Also, the sword carries a lot of momentum in your attacks in general. So a lot of time you'll see me just kind of stay, like, jump in place and hit the enemy that way, because if I jump, Meta Knight doesn't move. And that's more important than you think it is. This isn't a meta fight you're looking for. Oh, don't worry, there is a meta fight coming. There is absolutely a meta fight coming. Eventually. It's gonna be a ways off. For now, I'm gonna try to get this tree. We're gonna slice 3 times over just at the center and start flapping up. Would have been better if I didn't do that, but we're fine. While you run through the rest of the stage, if there's any donations, go ahead and feel free.
Of course, we got so many coming in. We thank you all so much. We have a $15.79 donation from Dakiti Cat. Ma'am. We have $25 from Kay that simply says, ma'am, this is a donation, ma'am. Thank you so much to Flame Fatales for putting on this event and for all the good you do in the world. Less than 3.
So yeah, you probably saw Wispy for all of like 10 seconds. Yeah, that's how these boss fights go. The different explanation of like how much damage each boss takes. There's actually a damage document for this game, and sword attacks, both from Meta Knight and the sword ability, do 6 damage. Bosses have 60 HP, so they take 10 hits to take down. Wispy kind of just stays in one spot because, well, it's a tree. I don't think he's gonna move, really. So we just kind of press B until it's done. Speaking of mini bosses, we have another one coming up. Give it up for Brain Wheelie. I'm sure he'll put up a good fight. And then I'll miss attacks, and it'll be a great time for everyone. If you caught the run from Tuesday, you'll also notice some of these stages are a little bit different. Nightmare in Dreamland is, for the most part, a remake, but it's also a slight re-envisioning. Certain stages are either slightly shorter or slightly longer. For example, this one's a little bit shorter. And like the bid area after Grand Wheelie is like its own room now. Other changes, unfortunately, like I've mentioned, this game does not really have anything in the way of glitches, so we actually have to go through this normally. So this is a room you did not see in Adventure, because I didn't need to go through it. but now I do. But as I said, Meta Knight is very quick, can get through this just as quickly and just easily, and... Wait, what's Meta Knight here? Meta Knight is fighting himself. I don't... Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. And for once, that damage was on purpose. Luckily, it's all good. There's a tomato we get right at the start of this stage, and we don't have to worry about that little damage we took, and that pothead did not want to actually move for me. Thanks. Yeah, so this game also likes to throw kind of a little bit of randomness at you. Certain enemies will just move in ways you don't need them to, and you just kind of have to deal with it. That's a big part of Meta Nightmare, especially with your movement, and especially because lives and health is pretty limited. If you're starting out in this run, you will die, like, a lot. Like, you have the same restrictions as extra mode in the standard game. And you can't save, so it's not like we can be like, oh, I'm at 1 health, how about I just soft reset for a health refill? Yeah, if you do that, the run starts over. So we won't be doing that. I'm not afraid of accidentally doing this in marathon runs, you are. Anyways, there's not much else to really say about this stage. It's still gonna be me just kind of doing lots of fancy jumps. So if you want to do a donation as I did to the boss, feel free.
Yeah, of course. We have a $100 donation from Sanjan, as promised for my 2 deaths during the run. Good Punkaboos to everyone, and donation goes to naming the file Punkaboo. And with that, we have already blown past $1,600 of that $4,000 Golden Berry incentive. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, I like how I was like, hey, go ahead and fill this one incentive, and then it filled up before my run even started. Also, that was Paint Roller. He makes paintings. He also goes down as fast as he did with UFO, so unfortunately, I can't really show off what Paint Roller does. It's actually really neat. But apart from the paintings, actually several of them give you abilities, like there's a bomb that gives you trash, there's a baseball that gives you, well, ball. There's a car that gives you wheel. It's really neat, and you don't get to see it, because you just kind of kill Paint Roller in, like, 2 seconds. Also, the main difference of this run compared to just doing any other Meta Nightmare run, there's a reason this is called 100%, and that is there are 17 switches in the Dane. Each of these unlock different things, usually mini Danes. Sometimes there's a Warp Star room behind it. But the short version is you have to hit these to actually get 100% in the Dane. So we'll be hitting each of those on the way through. General rule of thumb is that the first and last, starting from this world, the first and last stage always has always has a switch, and the worlds after this one start adding more on top of it. So next one will have 3. The next one, the one after that will have 4. Level 6 has every stage with 1, so there's 6 of them. Bugsy is being a problem. Let's get rid of him first. And then the final world is weird. It goes back to 2. I have definitely had runs where I just missed one of the switches because I got too ahead of myself. It can happen, and it's really unfortunate when it does. And again, you can't reset the run. You can't, like, soft reset, start the stage over, because it starts the whole game over. So you have to just play through the stage and just kind of hope you remember that the next time. Thankfully, that shouldn't happen. I've been doing a lot of practice, so if that happens, I'll be very upset. I'll be a little, I won't be upset, but I'll be disappointed. So we'll just go on through this room and wait, why is Meta not here again? I'm convinced. Oh. You were trying to say, Sun.
So I was gonna ask, you mentioned that there was some RNG involved in this game, but what about boss fights? Are those also RNG?
They are, but the way we deal with them, there's basically none to speak of. And if it, for any percent, this kind of also applies because, again, we kill the bosses very quickly. If you do any other sort of run, like, for example, one of the miscellaneous ones, like their copy abilities, where you, as it implies, don't use any abilities at all other than Sword for Meta Knight, because Meta Knight forces it, you do have to deal with boss RNG, and it can be a pain in the butt. Otherwise, the main RNG is really just from enemies rather than any boss fight. And it's mostly just down to, like, sometimes the enemy might jump instead of staying in place, or they might do an attack where you don't want them to. For example, like the earlier stage 3-3, or 3-2 rather, those Rockies that you saw on my way up, yeah, they can just jump. They can actually jump towards you, and I've had them do that, and it sucks. The Twister enemies are also really bad about just attacking whenever they decide they want to attack you. What a meta flight. Okay, you know what? Hear me out hear me out, anyone that wants to do like donations. Give me your best Meta Knight find. Give me your best Meta Knight find. I want to see some Meta Knight finds. Well, I continue my meta flight. So, here for the Sun and Moon again, and this time the choice matters, because Sunday to Moon Fruit, if you choose it wrong, you lose a second. I always choose Sungained, because everyone else wants Moon Fruit, and I'm not having that, I'm sorry. So, someone's gotta stand up for the underdog. So we're already getting kind of close to the halfway point, and speaking of enemies I don't like in this game, the UFO enemies are even worse in this game than they were in Adventure. They're still random, they still have very random movements, and they just hit you for no reason. And it'll be worse later. Anyone who saw KA earlier knows exactly what I'm talking about. They know I'm gonna have fun with it, and that Waddle Dude needs to know their plays. I'm sorry. Okay, I just saw Meta Kite in the comments. And all I can think of now is it's like a kite, but it's just shaped like Meta Knight. The wings are like the little bits that try to actually pick up air. Speaking of, are there any donations for some Meta Knight funds? I doubt it, but might as well see.
Look through, probably need a little bit of time for that one. Don't worry about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But we do have $25 from Human Beings. Hey, let's get that golden berry. And chat, we're almost halfway to that incentive. Can we meet it by the end of this run? I think we can.
Okay, this is the stage I need to remember to switch in. I have definitely gotten ahead of myself and went through the wrong door. So, okay, good. Not good. Fine. I have messed up that jump so many times. I finally have a backup if it happens, and it's probably the most dangerous jump I ever do. If I don't flap the wings in the right time, I die. You do not want to go under there. Also, yes, I would love to see the Golden Berry theme. So, yeah, definitely put in towards that. Extend that Celeste run just a little bit. On a meta fight for a PB, I mean, it's a marathon. I'm not really that worried about it. I'll just run past all those Twizzies. Yes, that is what those enemies are called. And we're just gonna run our way down here because if we were using Kirby, this would be a great spot to use Wheel. It would just be a little bit faster. It's actually really neat movement for this room. But we're Meta Knight. And Meta Knight's actually still fast. We have to do it manually. And this is Fan, everyone's favorite.
Hi, Fan.
Bye, Fan.
Wait, I blinked. Where did it go?
Good question.
So, Darksol, I see that even when you slash your sword in the air, you don't lose your dash. How are you doing that?
That is called I am doing the input every time. If you, when you do slash, the dash input goes away and you have to redo it before you land. Otherwise, Meta Knight won't actually dash. Ow. This is fine. We'll just show it again. Get that instant replay going. See? No mistakes. I don't know what anyone's talking about. That was first try. Also, speaking of bad RNG enemies, these Mono Birds are random and ready to go, and every last one of them went in front of me, so that is the worst outcome I could have ever gotten. Yes, 100% does mean hitting every switch. As you've seen, I have been doing that. And yeah, I don't like that I'm on my last life, but I should be okay. Thankfully, the stage in the stage after the boss fight, there's a 1-up I'll be grabbing, so I'll have some safety. But until then, it's gonna be a little bit scary, but it's fine. We'll just slice up Mr. Tip Top and be on our way. And hit our switch for this stage. Honestly, I don't actually know what Meta Knight's story is. Like the anime obviously has its own angle, but the games don't really give anything. He's just kind of mysterious and brooding, and we love him all the same. Also, this is Traco, and this is me flying up at the center just like in the last run. Because we fly at the center, nothing can hit us, and Traco can't keep up. So we'll just see him at the top.
While you're climbing up to the top, I want to remind everybody, if we break the Flame Fatale's record, hitting $127,000 roughly, by the end of Celeste, we're going to see a bonus Celeste run after that. It's going to be great. And the boss is gone. Goodbye.
That was actually really well timed. This is still fine. See? Now we're good. Now we're okay. Make sure you don't keep doing the down stab there, because if you do, you will probably fall through the rest of those blocks and die. I've done that a few times. It's mostly funny, actually, when it happens, because it's like, oh, I forgot to hit the button. Pretty much, if you hit that down stab, if you hit B, Meta Knight will actually stop doing the down stab, and you won't slam the ground when you when you finish it. Which I should probably point out, Meta Knight does actually have more attacks than usual to compensate for the fact that he only has a sword. Strictly speaking, you have almost his entire moveset from the boss fight, except for the mid-air spin. That's the only move he can't do. So there's a dash attack, there's the down stab, there's an up stab. The up stab is almost never worth using. It's actually very slow and tends to just not be very good. So a lot of the time you just want to do like the standard slice and deal with enemies that way. That's the fastest attack you've got. The dash attack is good for certain situations, namely if you need like that little bit of extra range, and it also doesn't take away your dash. Like Meta Knight will keep running despite that. And now we're gonna have another quick meta flight up this room, and another meta flight up this room. Meta Knight is the Kirby of Zero Instant Made Man as. You know what? Kind of. I could see that. So when's the day when Meta Knight screams at the screen, what am I fighting for? Anyway, thankfully we're at full health, so I don't have to worry about trying to, like, grab a tomato or take a death in this room. And this room is very scary. There's lots of spikes, and you need very careful movement to not take too many hits. It is very easy to die in this room, even at full health. It is very scary at 2 health because any mistake just is very costly. And I hope you like spikes because there's more of them, and we have to navigate this room too. Get this. Okay, we're dead. We're good. We're through the worst of it.
So Dark Soul, for new players looking to get into this game, what does happen if you lose all 3 of your lives?
If you get a game over, you just start from the... You basically just start from the beginning of the last stage you entered. That's all. But you'll lose time, but that's the only real penalty. You just start the stage over. The big thing is just making sure you don't soft reset the game or turn it off when you're doing Meta Nightmare if you're trying to finish it, because then you won't finish it. Also, from this point onward, every stage we're going in is going to have a switch, so we have to make sure to hit a lot of switches now. And here's our downside, actually putting this with work. I didn't hit B fast enough to stop it, but that's okay. It's not really that bad in most situations. Also, it hasn't really come up before, but other traits of the sword, Meta Knight's sword, is that it can solve any puzzles, such as, if there's a fuse, it will light the fuse. If there's a certain block that needs to be broken with, like, hammer or burning, Meta Knight's sword will break that. It can also pound down states, so it's a very versatile thing. It's the entire reason 100% even a thing from Meta Nightmare. Otherwise, it would just be a standard. It would pretty much just be any percent but with Meta Knight, which is fine. That's actually what the game goes by for the fastest time it does record. Unfortunately, I wish it would do 100%. Yeah, that was Fire Lion. I don't know what to tell you. Boss fights don't, mini bosses don't last terribly long.
I'll be honest, I don't think we've seen a single boss fight more than a couple of frames. You're taking them out real fast.
Can it really be considered bosses in that case?
I mean, they're still bosses, they have a health meter. Close enough.
The universal metric, is there a health meter? But everybody, we are now halfway to the $4,000 needed to hit that dashless winged golden berry incentive. And don't forget, if we manage to beat the previous Flame Fatale's record of $127,000, $127,266.40, after the Celeste All Cassettes run, we're going to have a Celeste Farewell DTS by Water with Flavor. Let's get those donations in, see if we can meet that. It's going to be an incredible run.
I promise this boss will actually do a little bit. And this one actually can sometimes hit me because Heavy Mole's arms are a little bit random in how they move around. Good positioning, that position is harder than it actually looks. That has taken a lot of practice to do it without just eating a hit or otherwise just missing an attack. And I miss attacks maybe 15% of the time still. But we're through it, and we're on to Orange Ocean, where every stage has a switch. Like this one. You can't make my file name. Wahahaha. Therium, I think it might be too late. Also, this stage sucks.
I don't know, I don't think it's too late. You know, Pumpkaboo is only $12 behind. Wahaha. That's all it takes. $13, $14, and, you know, Wahaha will be dethroned.
Yeah, this is the part of the game where movement starts becoming even more important than it ever was. Every movement matters. If you make a mistake, you're very likely to hit an enemy now, compared to sort of likely because you made the wrong jump. And since I didn't mention it before, and it's shown up a few times, there are ways to keep Meta Knight's momentum in the air. For example, when you do a slash, you'll temporarily keep Meta Knight's full speed. If you time your wing flaps like as you leave the ground, you can actually carry the momentum even longer. But it's tricky to pull off, and sometimes you just won't get it. Likewise, Meta Knight pulls himself forward a little bit with his sword swings once in the air, and every time he does them on the ground. This is why you'll see me do like short hops every time. It's just Meta Knight will move himself. I don't want to do that because a lot of times they'll just leave me to take an enemy for it. Also, that hothead likes to hit me, but he didn't. So anyways, while I'm sort of doing the next meta flight, if there's any donations, go ahead and feel free.
Of course, we've got $25 from Umrog T-Burn, Air 5s all around. We also have $10.06 from Miss Diva Minka. First time able to donate, let's go. An anonymous $50 donation with no comment, but thank you so much for your donation, because all these donations has brought us up to $2,089 out of the $4,000 for the Dashless Winged Goldenberry, and we're just over $20,000 away from meeting that bonus Celeste the Celeste Farewell DTS run by Water with Flavor. We can do it, chat. Can we get some less than threes?
Definitely want, yeah, more less than threes, honestly. Yeah, no one knows why Meta Knights take first to wings. I'm not sure if Meta Knight knows why they do. I just know they do, and they're very useful. Also, we should be fine on lights for the rest of this run. That stage gives you 3 the way you want to go through it, and the sword and Meta Knight's sword has just enough reach to hit the bomb block that lets me do that. Also, we're getting close to the final world, as you can see, based on the music, and the fact that everything's all icy now. Most of that world isn't that, it doesn't really do that much with ice though, so it's kind of weird. I don't trust a lot of these enemies though, so we're gonna take them down as we move through.
What sort of movement were you doing there to swim upwards in the water so fast?
So if you try to swim straight up with Meta Knight, he actually swims very slowly compared to Kirby. But if you hold down and mash A, you'll actually just ascend a lot quicker. Because basically it'll just cancel the animation out with Meta Knight starting to throw back down, and then you just press A again to redo it. It's about the same speed if I held left or right, but a lot of times you want to stay in place, and that lets you stay in place. So everyone, give it up again for the UFO family reunion, one of the worst rooms of Kirby's Adventure and Nightmare in Dreamland. Okay, I need to get rid of these. Okay, you know what? We'll do that. The sword didn't want to give me the kill. That's fine. I'll just run into it and we'll get rid of it that way. And finally, we have a mini-boss that actually puts up a fight. And of all things, it's Frosty, which is not exactly a hard fight. Okay, I'm getting real tired of Meta Knight just popping up at random spots. I say as I am Meta Knight and popping up at random spots.
All the enemies in this game must be really confused. Are we supposed to attack him or not?
I don't know. Let me make this personal. So this is Meta Knight, and we actually have to kind of fight, and Meta Knight can be really, really nasty. Meta Knight has a good chance of blocking your attacks, just generally moving around a bunch, and can easily kill you. It's actually like one of 2 fights in the game, but are legitimately a fight, and you will. And then I have definitely lost lots of runs to Meta Knight, or at the very least lost PBs to him constantly. Just Meta Knight's hard. Meta Knight's hard. Meta Nightmare is hard. Trust me, it's much like Yova. I make this look easier than it actually is. I will, however, say this is honestly probably one of the more interesting ways to run this game. Not that running it as Kirby isn't. In fact, this tier varies wildly between the two. Like, if you're using Kirby, the big strat here is to use Ball and kill every enemy, kill the mini-bosses that way, because Ball does the highest damage in the game. Actually using Ball is probably one of the hardest things in this entire game. Also, these mini-bosses are definitely harder, and they put up much more of a fight, they move faster. It's very easy to take hits here, as you've seen with Bonkers and Phant. This is why everybody loves Phant, because Phant will throw you straight into the trash. Red, whatever is the nearest wall. And sometimes maybe not the nearest wall.
How long do you think it took you to learn all this routing for this game?
If we're talking standard Meta Nightmare, overall it took a good couple of months or so to actually get to the point I did with that. Most of what I learned in that run translates into this one, because the main difference is just the switches, and you have more health as a result, and otherwise everything else is the same. Everything else remains very much the same, so it's not that bit of a difference otherwise. And so, like, most of my routing has come from the standard Meta Nightmare run rather than strictly 100%. That said, 100% I have managed to get second place in, but I haven't quite managed to luck out and get a better time yet. Also, the other worst room in the game. So many enemies. These ball enemies are random in their movements. I never like going through 7-4. It's not so bad once you get out of the ballroom, but until then, it's a rough time. I take it very. It doesn't look like it, but I actually take that kind of slow. Like, you'll see me actually walk instead of run with Meta Knight. And part of that's because Meta Knight's walking speed is still quick. It's about the same as Kirby's running speed. But it's easier on the inputs. I don't have to keep trying to hold a dash. I can kind of focus on the enemies and get rid of them. And it ends up being faster because I'm just not having to worry about mistakes. Also, we have another mini-boss that actually gets a chance to do something. And they had a chance. and now we have one of the last really scary rooms of the game, and that's the wind tunnel. It's for the same reasons as Adventure. The wind tunnel goes up and down, and if you... In this case, Meta Knight actually doesn't suffer from the same unique animation problem that Kirby does. Like, if you take a fiery hit or an electrical hit, he will have an animation for it, but he doesn't move, which is a very big deal, which means you won't die that way, but you can still die from just messing up your movement and taking a hit from one of the flavor enemies. And it just didn't burn for it. Also, this stage is a little bit out of place compared to the original. As you can see, the enemies are in color for some reason. I don't know why that is, unless there's a limitation, but hey, how about we just do this room again?
While you're doing that room again, I want to read a couple quick donations.
Go
We got
for it.
$100 from players A and B. Looking forward to that Celeste run. Go Carrie! Let's get that bonus run into more Celeste, please. And a quick update on the Golden Berry incentive. We are now at $2,339.39 out of the $4,000. Let's go chat. We can meet it.
I'm just about to the end here. We have one last switch, and it's in the best possible place. Introducing Moon Room. And that was Moon Room. That's still probably my favorite secret in the game. And now for Meta Knight. Meta Knight is a rough one because he has a lot more health than most of the upper bosses, and every time I attack, Meta Knight will Dignity will choose a different attack to perform. And he can slide into you and take a bunch of, and you just take hits when that happens. That's fine.
GG's.
That one takes a lot more practice than you think it does. It is very easy to mess up in that fight. Very easy to have DDD just ram you in the face. If you're just unlucky. The one who has world record, unfortunately ended up dying at that point. So just to give you an idea of like how rough this run can get, especially at a top level. But otherwise, that's a decent time. And I can't really complain about that. Which, on that note, speaking of that world record holder, shout out to Rox, as he definitely... He doesn't do as much Kirby now, he's been doing more Mario, but still a good Kirby runner, still a good runner in general. Shout out to the Kirby community in general. As before, if you want to learn this run or Kirby's Adventure or any other run, we have a Discord link on speedrun.com. Definitely check it out. We'd be happy to have you. If you want to follow me, as before, Darksol188 on Twitch. I do lots of Kirby stuff. I dabbling some up stuff here and there. I'd be glad to have you as well. I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, thanks to Phant for the donations. Thanks to Sun for being a good buddy. Definitely ask questions because that definitely helped me with stuff to explain. And I think that's it. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of the remainder of today's runs.
Well, thank you so much, Dark Soul. That was a wonderful run. And we have so much more coming up today. And, it could be even more if you get your donations in to meet that milestone incentive. On our way there, we're still pushing for that Dashless Winged Golden Berry Celeste incentive. And to help get us there, we have so many donations coming in. We've got $25 from Mine37388, less than 3. Pancakes donates $50 as well. We need more less than 3. Chat, can we do it? Can we get more and more less than 3? We got $25 from Needle Kind. Shouting out my family watching on the couch. Sorry I'm upstairs feeling a little under the weather, but I love you and hope you're enjoying the marathon. Connor, Sarah, and Dawn. Good luck to the runners and keep the donations coming for the Malala Fund. Less than 3. Remember, every single donation you put towards any of the incentive goes towards our milestone incentive to beat Flame Fatale's, our previous Flame Fatale's record of $127,000, 266 cents. And if we meet that, we are going to be doing a special Celeste Farewell DTS run by Water with Flavor. It's going to be great. Well, as we get set up for the next run, we're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back from the break, everybody. And quick update on the Goldenberry incentive. We have now gotten to $2,400 of the $4,000 goal to unlock that incentive. We can do it, and I'm seeing less than threes coming in. We've got $10 from Anonymous. Let's see that Celeste DTS. Again, that's going to happen if we break the previous Flame Fatale's record of $127,000 and $127,266.40. I've got it right this time, I promise. We've got another $10 from Anonymous. More Flame Fatales, more less than three. Unicorn Gamer donates $50. So excited to watch some great speedruns and help girls learn and lead all over the world. Thank you for being role models and helping me share gaming with my daughter. Good luck to all the runners. Sam I Am donates $10. Celeste, take my money. Thank you to everyone involved with GDQ and Malala Fund for everything you do. You all help make this world a better place. GG's to all the runners over the last week. Less than three. Kerplop donates $25. Thanks to everyone for a great week. Alien Crustacean donates $50, leaving no comment, but again, thank you so much for your generous donation. We have $37 from non-binary code that simply says gloop. I have a $150 anonymous donation. Thank you so much. Andy K donates $100, again leaving no comment, but thank you so much for your donation. theValiantSun donates $25 with no comment. Thank you so much. EDL666 donates $30. Let's go Fatales. So excited for all the upcoming runs. This event was a blast. We have an anonymous $500 donation. Again, leaves no comment, but thank you so much. Remember, all of your donations are supporting Malala Funds. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. They believe local educators and activists are best suited to address the problems girls face in their communities. Malala Fund invests in their work and collective power to create change, hold leaders accountable, and give girls the tools they need to advocate for themselves. From supporting STEM education for young women in Pakistan to creating safe learning spaces for girls in northern Nigeria, your gift today is an investment in Malala Fund programs that directly benefit girls. Chat, there's so many great runs today, and I'm curious. I mean, we got Sayonara Mario World coming up next, but throughout the remainder of the day, what is everybody excited for? Me, personally, I really want to see the Farewell DTS run from Celeste. That's a bonus game that's going to get met if we beat the previous Flame Fatales record. I have a $250 donation from Corvy May. Expected to get hit by sheer cold twice, so honestly, I think I got off too easy. With my run done, it looks like the ball's now in there. Jeez. In their courts. Less than three. Thank you, Corby May. And with that, let's go ahead and get into Sayonara Mario World by Frozen Flygon. Take it away.